Members, this is Tortimer the Great. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Minecraft from the TimeShot server. Today, we're going to be playing around with something that I have wanted to mess around with for quite some time, and that we have not quite taken the time to do as of yet. But to start out with, I wanted to kind of show you guys, if you guys didn't really get a good look at it in the last episode when we were out here briefly with Mara, but been working a lot on the AFK hub. So the last time you guys would have seen it on video, I guess, well, besides the last episode, I guess, would have been when we were moving the villagers into their place, and so it's come along quite nicely since then. Really getting close with it. I think we're pretty much done. Well, I still need to do, I think the bottom is completely done, and then at least the exterior. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with the interior, but for the most part, we're getting there. We're getting there. The bottom is done. Starting work on detailing the second level, which shouldn't take too much effort. But yeah, it's coming along really nicely. Then I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the inside. Well, I've got to figure out what I'm doing with the top too. I don't really like that peak on the top there. It's as you guys have pointed out, it's not a pyramid. It's not a pyramid. It's a ziggurat, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And so the peak like that probably isn't the best thing. We might put some other kind of structure up here, something like that. But I don't like how that's turned out. But anyway, that's not what we're messing with today. Figured I'd just show that thing off. Going to, very soon, it won't be a video or anything, but I'm going to be doing, putting in the automatic fishing farm. I need to do that soon. Maybe even tonight at some point. I don't know. I got to figure out what I'm doing. But for now, we want to play around with, we got our elytras. Edson and I went adventuring through the end at some point. And we both got a pair of elytra. Well, he got an elytra, and then I went out into the end afterwards and found myself an elytra. But the fact of the matter is, we've got an elytra. So we're going to go ahead and throw that sucker on. It's beautiful, fantastic. But they've added something to the game, which makes elytra use a lot more practical and a lot more interesting, if I'm being frank. So what we're going to do is, what they've added is, This will be good. In fact, let's go and let's see what we've got over here. If my paper has my paper farm is going ahead and grown back up, or what? Not a lot. Just one of these have come back at this point, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and get what we can. Fantastic. Actually, I was over here doing putting more sugarcane down, and some sand collapsed, and there was a huge freaking ravine cave system underneath this place that this fell into. I actually found a zombie spawner underneath. I dug up because I wanted to figure out where it came up in the desert, and it comes up right in here. There's a piece of cobble. Hold on, we'll go up top real quick. There's a piece of cobble in here that marks the spot. Kind of pillared up, yeah. So right there there's a handful of blocks down, there is a zombie spawner, which isn't super exciting, except for, it would have been a little more exciting if I had found it before, except for that the zombie spawners don't give off zombie villagers anymore. But if I'd found that earlier, I'd be like, this is awesome, this is exactly where I wanted to put the villager thing. But this is going to be moving, especially now that the iron farm is completed and populated. And I did take some more villagers up there. If you guys have been in any of my TimeShot streams lately, yeah, I kind of talked about it, but after we got all the villagers transported up there, in the last episode that we were messing with that, I had some issues where it wasn't totally secure, and so some of the nitwits that we transferred up there died, and so I had to transfer over a couple of more villagers, and so now I've taken down that water elevator and everything, but, alright, so, there was more sugarcane, which is the only reason I'm over here. Let's grab this. Alright, looking good. Let's make sure we don't have any stragglers over here, and then we'll go make some more paper. But what they've added is that with the help of firework rockets, you can actually have much more sustained, long-lasting, interesting flight with the elytra. Now, one thing I want to test is we can build fireworks of varying strengths. And so I want to make a handful of these fireworks and kind of see what would really be the best. Do we need just... let's look at this. So first off, let's turn this into paper. There we go. All right, so let's grab this. So if we do this, we get a firework rocket flight duration 1. If we do that, we get a firework rocket flight duration 2, That gives us a firework rocket flight duration 3, and I think that is, yes, yeah, so that's, we can build up to flight duration 3. Now, what I want to do is, let's go ahead and let's get, that'll be good, this out. We'll get 12 of each of these, and then we'll be able to test it out. All right, perfect. Okay, so take all this back for a moment. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so now we've got 3, 2, and 1. Now, how this is supposed to work? Let's start from a semi-high point. I think you're supposed to be able to start basically if you've got like a 2 high drop, you can start flying now. But let's go ahead and just pop up here. All right, so we're gonna start with the number 1 rockets. All right, so let's go ahead and. Oh, okay. So you shoot off the rocket, it gives you some flight. When you start dipping again, I guess, basically, then you shoot off another one. That seemed to work pretty well. And it kind of shoots you off in the direction you're aiming, I guess, because if we're looking down, that's going to shoot us off in the direction. Okay, so those are rocket 1s. Those seem pretty effective. You know, and essentially, especially since these require only 1 gunpowder to make per 3 rockets, as opposed to these requiring 2 and these requiring 3. All right, so that seems to work pretty well. Let's. Oh, okay. I've got feather falling boots on, but that felt like I was coming in a little quick. Okay, we're not gonna make it. All right. Well, we could have fired a rocket to get up there, but okay. There we go. That was fun. All right. My ultimate goal, once we kind of figure this out, would be maybe we get a fireworks shop going. I know a handful of people on the server do now have elytras. I think Poet's got them, Edson's got them, I think Penny has them. I think there's a bunch of people on the server who now do have them. Alright, so let's do this. Ooh, we want to be... Okay. Interesting. I wonder, let me go back to the number 1s real quick. So that... We did seem to get more height on that, but that might have just been better aiming since we didn't really know what we were doing previously. I want to see... Now let's compare that with... Yeah, I think the duration of our kind of, our particle trail there is extended with the second one, so it might just give us a better boost. It might actually be more useful. This is amazing. Let's fly back towards spawn. Let's do that. That could be interesting. Let's see if we can make it from the top of our Diglett head all the way back to spawn. I mean, we should be able to, theoretically, with these firework rockets. We should have almost unlimited flight, which would be pretty fantastic. I mean, look how long we're basically. So these are pretty close to spawn. I think just as this desert. Yeah. So this is days. So on maybe 2 rockets of us actually heading towards spawn, we were able to make it back to spawn very, very quickly. That's awesome. This is fantastic. All right, now let's go ahead and let's land. Oh man, we didn't even take damage from that. We just came in nicely. We're on top of our house here. All right. Okay. So let's give rocket number 3. Let's give that our shot. Let's see if we can get from here back to our Diglett head and see how many rockets it's going to take us to make that journey. So let's go ahead. There we go. Okay, very, very nice. And we'll just kind of enjoy our altitude here a bit. Obviously, we could probably kick up the speed a little bit, but I want to do a test and just see how long we can stretch this out. Because I think... I don't know. Probably people have already figured this out, and I will note that. So if you guys have seen sort of tests like this before in the comments, feel free to let me know. But okay. So we're under the clouds now. Feels like we're picking up, maybe not picking up speed, but we're at least doing okay. My gut would be I want to do another rocket here just because, but no. Let's actually go ahead. We're definitely starting the decline. Let's go back up. We would not have made it off of the guts of that 1 rocket, but we are coming up to our property right here. This is the tip edge of our right there. Yeah. So this is dry bone desert right here. There's our portal. And there's the Diglett head. So with 2 rockets, we can make it back to our base. Ooh, ooh! Okay, so that was a little bit less of a graceful landing, and we did pay for it dearly. Okay. Okay, alright, let's take a look real quick. How's our Elytra doing? It's taking a little bit of damage, but we do have mending and unbreaking on it, so we can easily repair it as long as we don't let it break. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now the next thing we want to try. Next thing we want to try is basically from a standstill here. So, okay, so if we're standing still, that just shoots off the rockets. So we do need to be, okay, so we do need to be we do need to get at least the Elytra activated. So we can't really just be like, all right, and away. Let's start over here on the top of the, this is a, what, 5 block drop? So let's start up here on top of our villager breeder. And I do have plans, so these villagers are not going to be in the iron farm, and I did mention this thing's going to be moving, but I am going to build, so we can't build anything over there village related, because over where we're looking towards the ziggurat, the AFK hub, because anything we build over there will interact with the village that's currently in place for the iron farm. But I think if we do something over here on this other side of the island, it'll be far enough away that it won't really affect things. Yeah, okay, so here we go. Oh, no, that didn't work at all. What was my health at before I made that jump? That was a 5 block drop. I feel like I shouldn't have taken 4 hearts of damage. Alright, here we go. I'm also just not fantastic with the Elytra, so we need to, that view might be messing me up too. Okay, there we go. So even with that drop, we can easily get going. Easy peasy. Alright, let's go over here and let's fly by Poet's place. See how he's doing. We'll head over to Mara's, see how her place has shaped up since we were last out here. But I think with more and more people getting Elytras going, that this is going to be something that could potentially be very useful to people. If we get a little fireworks shop going, for the purposes of Elytra flight, obviously I'm not going to, like this, you guys saw the recipe, it's a piece of paper and a piece of gunpowder. It's not really, you know, you don't have to make the fireworks charges, we're not looking for any kind of theatrical displays here. It's strictly just for flight, and so I need to look a little more into things and see. Yeah, I feel like that is short. So between that and, yeah, no, we definitely are getting a better boost from these 3 gunpowder rockets. The problem is, one of you guys informed me of this at some point, maybe during a stream or something, but unfortunately, creeper spawners do not exist, at least in vanilla. So I think this is Mara here. Yeah. So creeper spawners do not exist. So unfortunately, we have no hope of finding one of those and potentially turning it into a gunpowder grinder. But we could potentially. Jake has his mob farm going. Part of my goal with my AFK hub was to eventually get some sort of mob farm going underneath that. So while I'm auto fishing, the iron farm will be activated. The mob farm will be activated. And hopefully we could get some decent gunpowder that way. I want to AFK at Jake's place at some point. In fact, we'll fly out that way, because why not? The world is our oyster at this point. But yeah, so that was Mara's island. This is Mara's new island that we visited last time as well. I think coming around here, we should come up on MK's place. We're going so quick, the world can hardly keep up. But yeah, I think if we come around here, in fact, we should save those 3 boost rockets for maybe getting started on things. But maybe this is Code's place. I know Code claimed some Savannah Hills mountains area. MK would be over here more in the desert, probably. Yes, here's MK's little setup. We're above the clouds. There it is. So yeah, she's got her little place, and there's her pyramid there. All right. So let's head over this way. Eventually, we should come across Penny's place. This is just too much fun. This is just great. True flight in vanilla Minecraft. That's cool. I was hoping when they added the shulkers things, which give you kind of the hover effect, or that floating thing. I was hoping that at some point we'd be able to harvest something from the shulkers in order to make like a flying potion, so that you could get some sort of true like creative type flight within vanilla Minecraft for building purposes and stuff like that. I doubt that's going to happen at this point. I feel like that's something they would have implemented if they were going to a long time ago. But here we go, back at spawn. I want to look. Our Elytra's hanging in there. Oop, we're out of 1-tier rockets. Just so cool to just kind of come in to spawn like this. This is fantastic. Fly by Pudsey. Let's go check out Edson's place. What were we doing? Oh, we're going to Jake's place, the mob farm. Yeah, so Jake's place is pretty close. Well, it's not his place. It's just a mob farm out here in the ocean. Here it is. Yeah. So Jake's got this thing built out here, and basically, you know, your standard mob farm over the ocean. Of course, I feel like you might want light up here. This probably ruins everything, but oh, because this is half slabs. Okay, I see what's happening. All right, gonna say. All right, well then we don't need that at all. But yeah, so Jake built this thing. I don't know if you're supposed to AFK up there. Usually, I come here via the portal, and I just kind of stand there, and it's close enough that things will go. But yeah, so I got like I already had a stack, so I may have gotten like a half stack of gunpowder the last time I AFK'd out here. I didn't AFK for a real long time, but I mean, from here we can even see the mule, Edson's place, all that. So this is a nice close little thing, let's go ahead and head back towards spawn. Oops, and I fired a couple more times than I would have liked, but we'll get the hang of it. We've got to eventually turn the Trojan mule, back into the Tortured horse. But yeah, so he's got that. Obviously, it's going to be more effective, kind of up where it's at, because it's not going to load. Like, you don't have to worry about lighting up caves or anything here. Mine's going to be underground, and I did find some pretty good cave systems under my place, so it might be hard to get a real good, effective mob farm going there. But if I'm going to be AFKing anyway, it doesn't necessarily need to be hugely effective. And then I can set up a nice sorting system to collect basically just the gunpowder. I can collect... the other things I would want to collect are basically then the armors. So gunpowder and armor are really the two things I'd be looking for from this thing. Because I want the armor, because now in one of the latest updates as well, you can also smelt down armor and stuff like that. So you get yourself some used, you know, iron and gold armor and stuff like that. Pop it in a smeltery, and you get little iron nuggets and little gold nuggets, which then you can use to create actual, you know, bars and things like that. So that'll definitely be a useful thing to have as we get into kind of making this stuff. But yeah, so I want to just kind of test this thing out. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I think that's going to be it. We don't need to go a whole lot longer than that. I think we've kind of seen everything we need to see, but it's a lot of fun. I'm going to probably... have a lot of fun with this. Make sure I go to the end farm here soon and repair the Elytra. But other than that, I'm really excited about the possibilities of this. This is an awesome addition. That when I saw they had added it, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to mess around with that. And then I just never got around to it for whatever reason. But the AFK hub is coming along nicely. I've just been enjoying working on it, and I jump on and I can just mess with it for a little bit at a time, and you know, do like one quarter of a side or whatever, and then or you know, of a level. So do one little side, and then just log off. Like, it's just I get on and tinker. But I really do need to also. Oop, there was my last rocket. So we'll enjoy the flight here. But I really need to get working on my donator haul again, so that all of you guys, all you great donators, can get your proper recognition. I've started messing around in creative, trying to figure out exactly what the design I want to be. I pulled up one of the world downloads, because I haven't really messed with it since the last world download at the beginning of February, or at the end of January, or whenever it was. He took it at the end of January, came out at the beginning of February. I need to mess around and figure out exactly what I want it to look like, because at this point, I don't really know, like, how to make it. I want to make it look good. And so messing around with that in creative in the world download is what I need to do, and then we'll mess with things from there. But yeah, this is going to be fun. We need to get a decent source of gunpowder together, but then I'm looking forward to this. We'll get a little shop going. Even if we only sell, for the sake of because honestly, there's not a lot of resources that I really need. So unless people are paying in gunpowder, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to sell like the 3-tier ones. I mean, I do think that was a little bit of a better boost, but you can get super, very effective flight from a 1-tier rocket. So probably would just sell the 1-tier ones. If people want fancier ones, they can, it's gunpowder and paper. People could probably do that themselves, but I would need gunpowder more than I need really any other resource, because right now I got the iron farm going. I'm not really using a ton of diamonds at the moment because I don't really. I should make a good set of. I really need to. So I've got my picks, but I still have not really replaced. I'm still using the gear that I've got left over from when the Wither fight happened. So I had a spare pair of boots. I had 2 boots that were pretty good because I thought I lost 1 pair, and so I made a new pair. But then like this sword is garbage. Knockback 1, unbreaking 2. So I definitely need to get a good sword going again. I do still have all my picks, and I don't really wear armor on this server, so it's one of those things that not using a ton of diamonds, but there probably could be a use for them in the future. So, but I don't know. People aren't paying diamonds for gunpowder and paper, so I don't know. Maybe emeralds. We'll figure it out though. And I'll look into the actual testing. They may be the exact same. There may be no benefit to using them, but just on my observations there, it seemed like it might have been a little bit more of a boost. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Tortimer the Great, and you guys have been great. Make sure those likes, comments, subscriptions for me, guys, and I will see you all back here next time on the TimeShot SMP. Alright, guys, have a good one.